All right, it's 5 o'clock. Let's call the meeting to order. First order of business is to consider any changes, additions, or removals to the agenda.
I don't have any.
We're good. Approve the minutes from the previous meeting. The last meeting was September 3rd. What's the pleasure of the board?
I move we approve the minutes from the September 3rd meeting.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Comments from citizens? Any? Yes, Alan.
Good afternoon, and thank you for having me. I had a couple of quick questions, and I don't need answers now, they're just things to think about. With the recent fires we have had in town, and part of this is with the DRB up at Trailside and their issues with their water sourcing, fireproofing and whatnot, is huge, and I'm glad the DRB has been addressing this for the past two years now, at least. Back in September, there was an issue at Snow Track, and there was comments about trucking in pumper trucks, 600,000 gallons. I don't know where that water came from. I know we have some dry hydrants on the river. We have the snow retention pond, or the snow making pond. But that's a significant percentage of the town resources. And I could be wrong, but my understanding is there's 600,000 gallons on one side and 600,000 gallons on the other side. The grass fire last weekend, whatever it was last, I think it was last weekend. On Sunday, the pumper trucks from Mount Holly and Plymouth are pulling water out of the fire hydrant at the bottom of Commonwealth Avenue in front of the NICA office. When we have facilities set up to draw water off of the river, and I don't know if those weren't available because the river's so low. When we have resources of ponds and snow-making ponds and stuff, I'm concerned about drawing water from the town potable water systems. Being on the bottom end of that, our water was running brown for all day Sunday, and I know when you flush the hydrants, we send the hose out to the storm drain and it goes down to the river like we're supposed to do, like Warren Gleaslett used to say, and Joe Giordano says now. I'm just putting it out there as something to think about. They're not answers I need, but at some point they need to be considered. And certainly appreciate the multiple facilities, companies, towns that supported us September, October, November, 3 times in the last 3 months. It's concerning. And I think it should be a wake-up call for all of us. I know that volunteer firefighters are rare these days. They're in huge demand. As a carpenter, I'm slow to get up off my knees, but there is a consideration that we need to, us as a town, village, hopefully a merged town and village soon enough, need to do something to recruit young people for numerous reasons. 1, to work in our towns, 1, to raise their kids in our towns, and 2, to help with all the stuff that needs to be dealt with. And certainly appreciate you guys doing what you do and keeping track of the water for us. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, department head reports.
I got double of everything. I don't know if somebody didn't get.
Oh, it was probably the last 2 months because we didn't.
Oh, it was
we
September and
didn't.
then
We didn't meet
October.
last month.
Oh.
Yeah, I noticed that yet when I was looking at my stuff yesterday.
I
too.
was just wondering why we've been getting the highway department report the last couple
Well,
months. Was there-
something to read, I guess.
I like it.
Yeah, I do too. Um,
Maybe could they replace like a gate valve?
They do work hand in hand with the water departments,
okay.
probably.
No, I appreciate the reports that they give us. It keeps us in the loop. so.
No, I was just
Yeah,
wondering if
no.
there was something I was missing
No,
or should have been
I
aware
was
of.
wondering that myself, but. All right. Any
Sounds like everything is
Hunky dory.
coming along.
Moving along.
Yeah. Any questions on those? Anybody?
No,
The age receivables report. We're plugging away there and it's. Right now, the water has out,
25 with
$25,000 out,
majority of it in the 60 days, which is still
still current, more or
still
less.
current.
All right. We good on that?
Mhm.
Okay. Water allocation request, possible approval, 119 Main Street Homestyle Hostel. They'd like to increase from 24 to 49 seats.
You have that application, and just as you said, restaurant, just homestyle hostel, increased from 24 to 49 seats. They do not need a hook on as they're already hooked on, and that would be an increase to 1,125 gallons per day.
And we don't charge for allocation anyway, so
We don't.
it's more of a bookkeeping
Correct.
for you
Yeah.
all.
okay.
But I would take a motion to approve it from one of you people.
One question, do they have parking room for parking for that many?
The parking they have is just on the street.
So that's not an issue, basically.
Hasn't been.
Or that would be a DRB thing if
That'd
they
be a
were,
DRB, yeah.
if they're going.
I'll move that we accept the request to increase the seating from 24 to 49 for the homestyle hostels.
Hostel.
I second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Okay, the ayes have it. Manager update.
I'll just kind of go through a few bullet points, questions that have come up. We're in November, so we're moving towards winter, which is approaching soon. Really kind of getting ready for that, buttoning up the plants a little bit as best we can. We're going to be sending out freeze up notices, just for reminders with the bills. With the next cycle that comes out.
To let your water drip.
Yeah, to let your water dribble a little bit. We did have an accident with the wastewater or the water department truck
Oh,
while they were fixing
yeah, I saw that.
it over at Dorsey. It's going to be an insurance claim. It happened with one of the contractors that was there. Kind of pulled out down the side of it. It looks not great right now. So working on an insurance claim for that and what the estimate will be. Kind of some of the projects we've had going on, the asset management plan that Aldrich and Elliott has been working on. The comments have been received from myself and Joe. Went over the report. Had a few comments, changes that need to be made. That's been submitted to the state for review. Once the state approves it, we'll have the final report in hand for the board and for the town. Lead line service inventory, that was completed they're still, so by October 16th, they had to submit their findings. Obviously they went around to try to contact everyone in the village, still receiving some, but they had to submit on the 16th what they had. They can continue to add to that as that goes forward.
Are there any feelings yet of what we have?
There's not a heck of a lot of
I
lead
didn't
in
think
the
there was.
system.
No.
The next step is going to be basically a lead line, removal and abatement plan. That's what comes next as part of this.
But the lead is on the services. So I
Correct.
wonder how would that
Not
work with a
100%
homeowner?
How that's going to work.
Okay.
You know, I have a feeling much like this plan was done, it'll probably be mandated at no cost to, I'm sure the state's probably going to end up ponying up the bill for it. Cause you know, the loan we have for this project is 100% forgivable. But, you know, again, it's going to be difficult because if for those that have lead line, you know, lead service lines, the town will even say those are theirs. So
Right.
you'd have to replace them from there.
Right.
Fire hydrants, the one at Village Pizza was removed and replaced today.
Oh.
So that's gone. That is gone. It's moved on the south side of that pole, the telephone pole in the right of way on the adjacent property. So that was wrapped up at about 3:30 today. So no one will be backing into the hydrant.
So that went well.
It went very well. Yeah, our guys worked in cadence with M&M, got that done. The only other non-operable fire hydrant we have right now that was abandoned is the one at the corner of 103 and Pleasant Street. It will be removed probably by the end of next week. It's just an eyesore.
It'd just be good to pick it up before they hit it.
Exactly.
And its carts.
Yeah.
Good.
Um,
Wow, you guys are on it.
Trying to think, what else we have? So, kind of to talk about one thing I've been talking with the fire chief, and to jump on what Alan said, we're going to be putting our water department on, probably at least Joe, on Active 911. Ron knows what that is. That's the app that when the fire department is toned out, it comes to your phone, because we did know that, you know, so especially trail side and the wildland fire on East Lake, you know, we're fortunate where we make a lot of water.
Right.
So does it make a tremendous, I mean, I remember there were times where we hit the hydrants in Proctorsville and half the town was out of water for 2
Right.
days. That's not a situation here
Right.
when you use that much water, but to have Joe at least know that, okay,
That'd be good. Yeah, I guess.
he asked a real-time event, so you know, he'll probably grow to hate it when it goes off at 2 a.m, but at least
But at least he's
knows.
aware of it. He doesn't got to
He
come
knows,
in.
and it
but-
saves,
Yeah.
you know, and it saves Ben or one of the officers having to make that call in the middle of the night and be like, oh God, I got to call the water department too. They'll know. Highway has it, you know, all the guys, Ron already has it, so
Okay.
it's not a big deal to put Joe on.
Okay. Good.
And so the final, really last two things, you know, we have a new, as you know, one of our employees had left, was Seth left. In a roundabout way, Glenn Air, who was with the highway department, had left the highway department and decided to come back. He has decided to take a job with the water and wastewater department. Is really enjoying it. He's been here for about a month and a half. You know, Glenn worked for highway for a number of years, and now is back and actually just took his first water exam last week.
Good.
So he's on it.
Very good.
And it seems to have, you know, sometimes get a new body, breathes a little new life, and that's a good thing. So that's staffing wise. We have the other big thing, town village merger.
Yeah. What's that going to look like?
So we just received, and I'll send it to you. Once we have been working with our attorney, we have a draft copy of what a new charter would look like for the town that would incorporate the town and the village. That's done. That's a pretty big deal when it comes to this process, to be able to have that in hand. Realistically, it doesn't look a heck of a lot different than what we're doing right now.
So you would still have.
There would be a water commission. There would be a board of watershed commissioners. The trustees would go away.
Would you roll the sewer and water together?
And that's something that those are one of the we could, or the sewer would go to the select board.
Mhm.
And that's one of those pieces that isn't a make or break thing.
No.
You know, the big thing that comes up with the water and wastewater with the merger is people are going to ask, you know, how's it going to affect me? Well, the easiest way with that, it's not.
Yeah.
If you're not on the system, you don't pay for it,
Right,
period.
right.
And that's it, move on. So I really think that, you know, we're looking at in talking with some of the folks at the state level, if this passes in March, by realistically the 1st of July, we're looking at having an approved merger of the village and the town. That's not out of the realm of possibilities.
When does the town and village have their initial vote?
It would be in March.
A town or village meeting?
Yeah. So, and we're working with attorney Sarah Buxton, who her firm is out of Montpelier. She's done this. She worked with, she's working with the town, with the elite, but she did this for Lindenville. And so she knows the process, working pretty well. I'm happy to have the draft. Once got a few changes, I'll send you the draft so you can look at it, but we're going to start getting back to members of each board and saying, what do you think? And probably eventually pulling a member from each board, seeing how this looks, just to get a little more feedback. But again, the easy part is that it's really not much, it's not like we're taking two different things and trying to put them together. We're pretty much doing it now, aside from what's behind the scenes. So it's a good step.
Okay.
So.
Oh, it's good to hear because I hadn't really followed it, and I knew it was out there somewhere.
It goes in those ebbs and flows, and we really hit it hard. Then while they're drafting the new charter, it kind of slowed down for a little while, and we're kind of back at it a little bit.
Okay. Anything else?
That's pretty much everything I got.
Okay. I got a couple. We talked about the Godfrey tank. We went out to bid to clean it in July. Did we ever clean it or
They
award
are
it?
coming. One of the inspectors is coming to run the camera in it
Okay.
on the 22nd of this month.
Okay.
That will allow us to know whether they can do just a machine, like a mechanical clean.
Kind of like a pool vac, huh?
Yeah, or they're going to have to send the divers in.
Okay.
So that's being done.
So it's a works in progress.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's on the 22nd.
And the FEMA, how do we make out with FEMA and the Plumley Avenue stream process?
So that's still a work in process. We have Hoyle Tanner is giving us the cost for the
Good.
directional drilling under the river. That will probably be a spring project, obviously. But once we're done there, and we have that secured, they'll push the project through. We'll get the money, and then we'll do it.
Who do you work with there? John Olin still with him?
Yeah,
He's a good guy.
he's helping us with Clark Drive Bridge too,
Okay.
which is an interesting project in and of itself.
All right. And we had spoken about thinking about repairs on the spring house,
Mhm.
whatever it needs, if it needs anything. But
Yeah, so
I'm
we're
all
probably
about
gonna
being
look at
proactive.
that,
so.
and I was up there last week, and there are some things, especially with some of the sluiceways there that could need to be rehabbed a little bit. And we also talked about too, some of the safety facilities out back there. There's a valve there that
Right, yeah. You could close.
not a big deal, but if somebody wanted to go up there, they could shut off the entire water system. I mean, it wouldn't. We'd figure that out relatively soon,
Yeah,
but
no water for you.
still, if it was in the middle of the night and we're trying to put a fire out, we might have a
All right,
problem.
okay.
So,
And then I had heard that there's talk of dredging the dams out.
yeah, so there is, and whether or not they're actually going to dredge, I think Site 2 is the direct for the spring.
For the infiltration gallery for
So
our
they're
water.
aware of that. We had a site meeting up there last week that looked at site, because the way they're going to do it is right now, Site 1 and 2 are in design, engineering and design phase. That's going to take 2 years. So then in 2 years, they'll begin the construction, which is really a lot of the spillway. And I'm not sure how much, if any, they're going to dredge that dam.
Okay.
But I will be sure to bring up that it has the,
Well, I think everyone's aware of it, but and I know over the years we've talked about doing that on our own, but it never went anywhere
Yeah.
because we felt if we did that, we would get more water into our system.
into the system. Yeah, so I'll ask them. I know they're aware of it, but
Okay.
we were kind of at a 30,000-foot view when we were up there
Mhm.
because there was a lot of people and
Right.
a lot of questions
Okay.
going on.
And the other question is, we've changed some valves this summer and recently, How do they, just my curiosity, being kind of a nerd, how do they document that? How do they keep track of that? Is there a place they can go and say, I changed that valve in 2000?
So one thing we've been talking about, so a lot of it is just at this point, a lot of it is your archaic.
Right.
Write it down in a book, keep it on the hard drive on the computer in the office.
When we did the mapping for the water project, I thought that data was all incorporated in that the valve ages, if they turn left and turn right.
Some of it is, I believe.
Okay.
What my goal is we talked about this when we were dealing with the valve at the end of Veterans Park, and we were having a heck of a time figuring out, I mean, which way that went. It started at 8 in the morning, and I think we finally turned the water off about 3 in the afternoon because it was all bing, 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 bing. But what my goal would be is I said, there's no reason that you guys shouldn't have, whether it's on the truck or a computer or a laptop, that you can easily just go and boom, it pulls up right in the truck.
Right.
And because the thing is too is with those, for the reality, water and sewer, it's not as though you're not going to have service. You're going to be in town. You're not going to be on some remote back road. So you could be very easily pull it up and say, all right, where is this valve, rather than trying to lay I come out and they have the maps out over the back of the truck, and it's raining, and it's just. Right. So the goal is to have that system. So, and part of it too with the asset management plan is to be like, all right, we have access to all of this. We know we can look here and say, this is also, we know it's a 4 or 6 or 8 or a 12. So those are the type of things that it would just make life a lot easier, and it would save and make a 12-hour job an 8-hour job sometimes.
But when we did the original mapping, I don't know when 10, 12 years ago, I thought a lot of that was incorporated into that, and there was a way that they would, but people didn't embrace, the operating people didn't embrace that mapping too well. They just didn't like it, but I always thought there was a way that they could go into it
and they're very
with a laptop. And
there very well may be,
but I just
think
don't know.
You hit the nail on the head is that you have to embrace it and use it, because if you don't, it's useless if it hasn't been updated for 10 years and try and get
we used to update it every year. We have for a few years. We send the data off.
I'll have to check, because we looked at that when we were there. I said, there's no reason you shouldn't just have, something in the truck that you could pull up and get bang, boom, pulls right up and tells you what it is.
Just curious. All right. I think you answered all my questions before I had a chance to ask them. Man.
Beautiful.
Clairvoyant.
That covers anything
There you go.
you're thinking about. So.
Okay. Anybody got anything else?
I don't.
Oh, is there going to be a Christmas party this year?
Yes, so we would like to, select board give consensus last night. I'm going to ask the trustees, unless we consensus to move forward, there'd be a Christmas party. We're going to solicit bids. Last year it was at DJ's. It was very well attended. I think our budget last year was $5,000. Looking to move forward with that and just put it out and do it towards, I think we did it early December.
Okay. All right. Yes.
I'm sorry if this is not the appropriate time. Are you on other business?
Yes.
Okay. 2 quick things. One, with all the lead piping surveys that we're doing with, was it MSK? I wonder if it might not make sense to send something out in the next water bill. 35 years ago, a friend of mine at Bridgeport Hydraulics said, if you have lead pipes and you run the water until it runs cold, it significantly reduces the amount of lead in the water. So it might be worth sending that out to people with their water bills, so they know that, so they're not just, drinking heavily leaded water. Probably something you guys already know, and I'm not telling you anything new. And secondly, I don't know if I'm going to make the trustees meeting, so I was wondering if my comments from citizens could be added to the trustees. I don't know if that's appropriate or allowed.
After this week, once we adjourn, we can talk about forward to the trustees.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I just, would like my comments to be known, and if not, people can read the minutes and figure it out. Thank you.
Okay. Set date for the next meeting would be December 3rd. Possible agenda items, there's always something we can talk
There'll
about.
always be
Lead
something.
studies and asset
Yep.
management plans and leaks, breaks, and freeze-ups and things like that.
Yep.
We signed the warrant orders, executive session?
No, sir.
No? With that said, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
I move we adjourn.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. There we go.